You're listening to the Full-Time Function Musician Podcast, the #1 resource for growing your function musician business. If you're a solo wedding singer, part of a 12-piece luxury show band, or anything in between, and want to learn from other successful musicians, you're in the right place.
You're listening to the Full-Time Function Musician Podcast. This podcast is all about helping you grow and manage your function musician business. Each week I sit down with an amazing guest to discuss what's worked for them, what hasn't, and the valuable lessons that they've learned along the way. And together we'll explore how to build a successful business without burning out in the process. I'm super excited about this episode, so there is going to be absolutely no waffle from me. Let's get straight into it. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Leo Ihenacho. You're listening to the Full-Time Function Musician Podcast, and on today's episode, I'm super excited to be joined by singer, songwriter, performer, mentor, entrepreneur, author. The list goes on and on. Leo, welcome to the podcast, man.
What's up, Jack? How are you, man? Thank you for having me. I really appreciate that.
No, absolute pleasure, man. I'm really excited about this one. I've been watching all your content over the last few days, and there's so much good stuff in there, and I'm really looking forward to diving into some of that.
Thank you.
But yeah, first of all, just to kick things off, I always like to go back and learn a little bit about you, where you got started, and kind of the journey that's brought you to where you are now.
Oh man, where do we start? I mean, I've been in this game for, I would say, well over 3 decades. And so, I've been, when there was vinyl, when you used to put out vinyls, cassettes, CDs, and all of that business, all of that retro gear.
Yeah.
I pretty much started very young, actually. I was signed pretty young. I was signed at 13. I was the youngest signing artist for Sony Music at the age of 13, which was fantastic. I mean, before then, I was always into music and, always doing music stuff anyway. So when I got signed, I know everyone was quite excited about it, but for me, it was just, I thought this was what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Were you reaching out to
no,
or did you kind of get spotted?
I think I got spotted. I think it was, I used to do a lot of talent shows, so I used to enter a lot of dancing competitions. I won a few dancing competitions, school ones as well. And I did lots of those. And then, as you do one, you get invited to do another. Yeah. And then, people start talking and they say, hey, have you seen this guy? Get him to come and perform here. And so I was doing a lot of performances, up and down the country, and I think it just kind of developed from there, picked up from there. And I remember the Brit School was opening, so I was actually the first student at the Brit School. I was there when, I don't know if you know the Brit School. Brit School is like the performing arts, where they've got since then Amy Winehouse has been there, Adele, so many incredible artists have come from there. So I was actually the first artist to be enrolled at the school and signed from when I was at the Brit School. So and which was incredible. And so, like I said, I've been doing music for a minute. So we put out a couple of records in Sony. It was like a Michael Jackson cover, which we did, called "Looking Through the Windows." I'm trying to find the video for it. I can't find it anymore. But so we did that, which was an incredible experience. Did a lot of TV shows then, and then from that, I finished Brit School, and then I got into producing music, started writing, got into the garage scene. I worked with incredible producer, songwriter called Kay Warren, who was massive in the garage scene, so he put out a lot of big garage records. He's actually one of the pioneers of UK garage. So I wrote a record with him called Coming Home, which kind of blew up. It went #1 in the dance charts and stuff like that. It was quite well received record. And then I did that for a while on the garage scene. And then I joined the Streets with Mike Skinner. which was incredible. We worked on, featured on 2 albums, Grand Don't Come for Free, and my head's gone, the other one, The Hardest Way to Make an Easy Living. So, we toured the world. I mean, we had number one albums and stuff like that. We did the Brit Awards, headlined countless festivals all around the world. It was just amazing time. This was all before social media, by the way. So it was incredible times. And then so did that, and then after that, I just started DJing. Started doing acting. What else? And it just basically I was just in the game, putting out records, and obviously, have a lot of connections with people in the industry. So just doing a lot of projects. Then I started a company, a live music agency. And this music agency is just basically creating bands and booking bands for corporate events, private events like that. So since then, I've been working with a lot of incredible companies, massive companies, which has been fantastic. So now I provide entertainment to some of the most exclusive members clubs and private individuals, a lot of rich people basically. So so I work with a lot of rich people, and I help them with their entertainment, put it that way. So and then been doing that for a few years. Business been growing well, and then I've just recently wrote a book called High Paid Singer, which is just basically helping singers, because you meet a lot of singers on your way doing this thing, and a lot of singers want to get into the game, and I realized that a lot of them are making the mistakes that I used to make many years ago. And you tell one person, and then you find yourself telling someone else, you find yourself telling the third person and whatever, and then it got to a point where, I need to put it in a book, because I just can't keep repeating myself, because a lot of singers that will come to me and say, hey, listen, I want to get into the game, I want to do some gigs, I need to make money, how do I do it? And so I said, you know what, I can't keep telling this 1,000 times, so let me put everything in a book. And it's everything that I've learned for 3 decades, every mistake that I've made, everything that has got me this success from when I was signed to Sony, because I've not done anything different to when I've ever first started. And the things that I've been doing since then has helped me get all these things that I've done, even to the point where I did 24 gigs in 24 hours, which was wow. It was a crazy stunt that I decided to do once. And so I had a lot of great interest from that. A lot of brands got involved. So I've always been in the whole performance and showmanship thing. And like I said, I've made every single mistake that you could possibly think of. And you learn from those. Well, I don't like to call it mistakes. I mean, I've learned a lot from all the things that I've done, which has got me in a position now where, I'm able to see things for a mile off and say, hey, to any upcoming singer, listen, if you want to get X, the best way to do it is this way, because I know exactly where you've been. I know exactly how you feel. I know the frustrations you're going through. I've been there. So these things that you're doing, it's not going to work. This is where you need to go, so I put everything down in the book, where, explaining all of that. So, I mean, that's pretty much summarizes, what I've done and where I'm at right now.
Yeah, man, super interesting. I can't wait to get into some of your good gigs and worst gigs, because there's going to be some stories there.
There's too many.
But just on the book a little bit, I mean, were you a writer before that, as in words writer, not songwriter? So did that come easy? Is that a challenge for you?
You know what it is? I've always been good at telling stories. And I think the most difficult part of it was because I had so many ideas and so many things that I wanted to say. It was a case of how do I structure it in the book where it flows, where it makes sense, where people can actually take from it, So that was more of the challenge. I mean, it took me about nearly 2 years to write the book. And, you get to a stage where you think you finished and then an idea comes and think, oh God, I really should have put that in.
Yeah.
And then you can't just put it in. You have to go and rewrite the whole thing. And so it makes sense. You can't just say, I'm going to throw it in, because everything needs to change. You have to reshuffle things. And so that happens quite a few times because there's so many things that, I think, oh God, people really need to know about this. I need to put it back in. I need to put it in, And so that was more of the challenge for me. But we got there in the end. And, I'm super proud of it. I think, a lot of people have got the book now. A lot of it's changing a lot of people's lives already. And a lot of the things that I've put in the book is a lot of things that I've been telling artists throughout my career who have had success, because I've had a lot of artists that come to me just for advice anyway, just on performance ideas of how to get gigs or, how to connect with audience or, how to market themselves properly. So, like I said, I've been telling people this already and they've been getting success from it. So it was just more of a no-brainer to kind of put it in the book to try and help others. So when people come to me, I say, hey, listen, if you want everything, just go and grab the book. It's all there, 200 and what so pages of 3 decades of insight into this industry. Yeah.
And it's called the High Paid Singer, right? But this is relevant to like anyone that's a musician, right? Anything that's all relevant to getting more money. But yeah, I mean, like the book is obviously aimed at that, and a lot of your content is aimed towards positioning yourself as a premium product, and getting higher fees and moving from the mediocre to the fantastic. No, the mediocre many to the fantastic few.
That's the one.
So I thought that would be like a good place to start and maybe kind of explain the idea behind that concept.
Well, the concept came to me via a marketing business guru called Myron Golden. And he was talking about, basically, he said that a lot of people know what it takes to become, I'm paraphrasing, but knows what it takes to become part of the mediocre many. But there's only a select few that are willing to do the work to be part of the fantastic few. And when you do the work to be part of the fantastic few, there's not that much competition there. You've got less competition because everyone is part of the mediocre many. And so if you can learn how to become part of the fantastic few, it's like a free-for-all. Like you're not competing on price. You're not competing on anything else, because you're it's finite. You are one of one, so to speak. And you can dictate your conditions. You can dictate your price. You can dictate what type of gigs you want to do. People want you for you. It's not a case of saying, okay, well, I need a singer. Okay, if you can't do it, let me get somebody else. No, they want you because you're bringing something to the game that only you can bring. Yeah. And so if they can't get you, they can't get you, period. That's it. And so what I try, and this is something that, I've, like I said, looking back in my career, is something that I've always, whether done subconsciously anyway, because I studied the greats, and so when you study the greats, you want to emulate them, you want to copy them, you want to be like them, and then you want to take great things from them, and by doing that, you accidentally create something of your own space, your own brand, your own thing, and then people resonate with that, and they say they want that. And so that's why, I was winning lots of the talent shows. I was being called to do shows, many openings of shows from when I was young, and it was purely because I was doing things differently. I mean, I would turn up to pubs dressed like glam, and it would just be like a random gig in a pub, but to me it was a show. And so if I'm putting on a show, I'm putting on a show. I want the full gear, I want to make an entrance. I want to interact with the band. I'm putting on. It was like Wembley to me. You understand? And every gig was like Wembley. And so, looking at it now, I must have looked like, who the hell is this guy? Because it always fascinated me whenever I used to do like talent shows or do gigs, and I would see other people that were performing before me just dressed normally, and I was like, it didn't make sense. I was like, why are they dressed like that? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, are you going on stage? And they'll go on stage and they're singing, and it just didn't make sense to me. And whereas I'm there, glittered up, glitter jacket. I love Michael Jackson today, so I would have like glittered trousers, nice shoes, so I could do my spins. I was bringing the heat, and whenever I went on stage, it's like I knew that I was going to get the response. I knew I was going to kill it, because that's the thing I always used to get, and it was because of that I kept getting invited back to more shows. Yeah. So I've always been on it, and it wasn't something that I was taught. It's just something that I just, as far as I was concerned, this is what showmanship was. This is, if you're going on stage, this is what you're supposed to be doing. It wasn't like you have to do this. It was, this is what it is.
Do you think that came from starting so young or getting signed so young?
Definitely starting young. Definitely. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Michael Jackson. Was massive for me. I mean, a huge Michael Jackson fan. James Brown. Sorry, but someone's killing my phone. I was a huge Michael Jackson fan, James Brown fan. And whenever I saw them perform, it was incredible, magnetic. It was theater. They took me to a different world. The way that they moved on stage, the way that they got the crowd, the way that they performed to the music, the way that they sang, it was theater. It was wow. And the feeling that I got watching them, I always wanted to give that feeling to people watching me, because that's all I thought it was. It's like, okay, so when you go on stage, this is what you're supposed to do. Cool. So that was it.
Yeah.
And so I've always done that because that's all I saw. And that's all, because remember, back in those days, you had Madonna, David Bowie, Elton John, you had Guns N' Roses. These are, when you look at it now, these are theatrical people, costumes, crazy costumes. You had Queen, you had all these very eccentric artists, you had Prince, showmanship, people that will go on stage and just wow. And so that's all I knew. And so when you go on stage, this is what you're supposed to do. So if you saw me, I had the same thing. My hair was a certain way. I had the glitter jacket. My shoes was done. I probably had one or two gloves. I was dancing. I was singing full, and it didn't matter. I could be performing in a chicken shop. Yeah. It didn't mean anything. It's like, okay, perform. You want me to perform? This is what it is. And I would turn up like that. And because I turned up like that, it was a feature. It was a thing. And I just got a lot of response from that, which led me to be invited to do more things. And then things got escalated, and talent shows, then TV shows. I did a lot of TV shows when I was younger. I won lots of TV talent shows as well. And so all of those things kind of spiraled till I got signed, till I got accepted at the Brit Awards. Sorry, not Brit Awards, the Brit School. Because you had to audition for the school. You couldn't just turn up. You had to audition. And so, again, that was the full regalia. It was the whole thing. I turned up like like some crazy kid.
Yeah.
But all of those things is what has led me to have all of these milestones in my career, like joining the streets and working with a lot of people, is purely because whenever I turned up. And word of mouth, because we didn't have social media then. And so word of mouth, people would call and say, hey, someone saw you here. Can you come and perform here? Or can you come and work with me? Or can you come and do this show? Blah, blah, blah. And it just spiraled. And so, like I said, everything that I know works, which is that. Because fundamentally, people want to be entertained. Yeah. And your job is to entertain them. And that's it. There's no, it's not about trying to promote your song. It's not about trying to tell them that you've written a great song and, you know, people should go and buy it. That's not your job. Your job is to entertain, and people don't care. People just want to be entertained. When you go out to anywhere, you don't go and say, "Oh, I really want someone to promote their new song for me and tell me where to buy it."
Yeah.
No one ever does that because nobody cares. You go out to the cinema because you want to be entertained. You don't want to go and say, "Oh, I really want to go and see, you know, this famous director's way of holding the camera." No, you just want to see a great film, entertain, and go, "Wow." And that's our job as musicians and singers. Our job is to entertain by any means necessary. At the end of the day, you know, when you come and experience a singer, your job is to make them feel something and have a great time. And then once you do that, you'd be surprised. You can sell anything. They'll buy everything. But I find a lot of singers now, they lead with trying to promote how good they are, or trying to promote how great they can sing, or how to try to promote where to buy their record, or the fact they're a good songwriter, when that's not the whole purpose. And I think when you lead with that, that's when the frustration comes in, because you're not connecting with, or you're not doing your job, you're not doing your purpose. Your purpose is to entertain. And if you can fulfill that obligation, the world is your oyster. And so that's what I kind of put in the book, is like, you need to focus on your purpose, your gift, which is to make people feel something, to give people escapism, make them feel good about, just give them something where they can escape from their 9 to 5, the fact that their girlfriend broke up with them, or boyfriend, you know, whatever it is, the bills that they need to pay. For those 5 minutes or 45 minutes of you being on stage, you need to make them feel like a kid again, so they can scream and go, "Oh my God," and dance. That is your job. And if you can master that art, then the world is your oyster. And that's pretty much what I teach, you know, for singers. Yeah.
So, I mean, you kind of just touched on it there with maybe like mistakes that people make, but what are kind of some of the big mistakes that you see singers and other musicians making when they're getting started?
The fundamental one is, one, not understanding that you are an entertainer. You know, once you understand that your role is to entertain, then, and you're coming from that perspective, everything else changes. The way you think about yourself as an artist, the way you think about how you perform, the way you think about the audience, the way that you think of writing songs, everything about your craft changes, because now your sole purpose is to make people feel something. It's not about trying to show them how great a singer you are. It's not about trying to show them how good your song is. It's not about trying to show them where to go and buy your record, or trying to be famous, you know, or try to get fans, or try to make people like you. It's none of that, which is what I feel a lot of singers do. They want to show people I'm good, I can sing, I want to get fans. And it's nothing whatsoever about that. Your job solely is to entertain people and make them feel something emotional, take them a journey. And once you really grasp that and understand that they don't care about you, really, all they care about is how this person on stage is going to make them feel. That's all they care about. But once you make them care, they would love you. You actually get everything that you want, everything that you wanted, the fans to buy your record, everything else that you were leading with, you will get. But if you don't focus on that, you focus on the fact that your job is solely to entertain. You get all of those things are byproducts.
Yeah.
You understand? And so I see a lot of artists leading with all of those superficial, egotistical things, which counteracts you getting those things. You know, so that's one of the main things, the main mistakes. And like I said, that's the fundamental one. Because once you understand that, everything else has to change. Because now you start thinking differently. Okay, if my job is to make you laugh, what do? I need to try and find jokes that's going to make you laugh, isn't it? I need to start doing things on stage that's going to make you laugh. It's not, I'm a comedian, I want to make you love me. No. My job as a comedian is to make you laugh. It's got nothing to do with me. I've got to make you have a reaction, an emotional effect. So you've got to see it the same thing as that. Same thing with a DJ. When a DJ goes, a DJ says, my job is to make you dance.
Yeah.
It's not about, I need to make sure you see my DJing skills or see how I mix that record. I want you to follow. No, it's about my job fundamentally is to make you dance and have a great time. Because what happens when you dance and have a great time? You're going to want to come to my next gig. When you see my name up, you're going to go, good, because what does that guy do? He makes me have a great time. What does that DJ do? He plays records that I sing and I sing out loud and I enjoy. It's selfish, but that's the truth. They like you because you're like crack. You're like a drug, and I've got a chapter in the book. It's called Sell Dopamine. There's a chapter in the book called How to Sell Dope. As an artist, I've got to find the title somewhere in there. And basically what I talk about is and which is something that came to me. It's one of those ideas that came to me after I finished the book, and I was like, oh, I really need to put this in. So I'm teaching singers how to understand how to sell dope as an artist. And once you understand this, so what I mean by selling dope is dopamine. And if people that don't know what dopamine is, it's the chemical that's released when you feel good, when you have a good time, when you see something that excites you, you get a hit of dopamine. And as your job as an artist, or sorry, as an entertainer, is to find all the things that you can do that can give your audience dopamine, right? So the way that the songs that you sing is, if you sing songs that people love, you're giving them dopamine. If you've got a good voice that's warm, you're giving people dopamine because they go, oh, what a beautiful voice. If you look good, you dressed well, and people like to see a good style, you're giving them dopamine. So there's so many things that you can do as an entertainer that is dopamine. And you can collect those things. Michael Jackson was great at this. He was the king of this, the way the songs he did, the dancing, his singing, his one glove, the way he came on stage, everything that Michael Jackson did was specifically calculated to make you keep getting hit by dopamine. Wow, to the point where people were fainting because they were overdosed. You understand? Yeah. And so as an entertainer, look at the power that you have, where you're able to say, you know what, I've got 100 people in the audience and I have the power to give them dopamine. What can I do that's going to hit them with dopamine? Okay, the songs, boom, that's dopamine. Big, funky songs that they love, that they can sing along, that's a huge dopamine hit. The way that I come out on stage, I'm not just going to randomly come out on stage. I'm going to make an entrance where people go, wow, what was that? Dopamine. I'm going to dress well. Dopamine. I'm going to sing this song seductively to a girl. Dopamine. I'm going to have a surprise guest that's going to come. Dopamine. Until you hit them, till at the end of the gig, they're like this, oh my God, I'm high on this guy. And that's how you win. And then you become a dope dealer. So I've written down all the specific things that you can do, all of those dopamine hits that you can give to your audience. Whereas now it gets to a point where that if anyone comes to your gig, they're getting it. It's finished. You know the experience they're going to get because you know exactly what you're going to give them. You know exactly how they're going to feel when you drop this record. You know exactly how they're going to feel when you do this, how you enter the stage, Yeah. Once you see yourself as an entertainer and your sole job is to entertain, then you feel like Thanos, you think, okay, how many dopamine things can I collect? Can I have in my arsenal, my weapon, so that when I go on stage, I'm going to hit them with all of these things so that by the end of my 5-minute gig or 45-minute gig, whatever it is, they are going to be so high. They're going to have such a great time. They've danced, they've sang, they've looked at how good my shoes were or my costume was. I've done a costume change. The bit where I sang this song, I knew you've finished them. to the point where they're like, my God, I need to book this person again.
Yeah.
How much do you want? We'll pay you. And that's what it is, because at the end of the day, it's about how you're making people feel. And once you can understand that, the world's your oyster. You can charge whatever you want. You're part of the fantastic few now. You don't have to, it's either they book you or they book mediocre, right?
Yeah.
And mediocre is, you can get mediocre anywhere. You go and get another singer, but they can't get another one of you, because now you're tooled up with dopamine. You're that crack dealer. and the great thing about it, event organizers, booking agents, anyone that's having a party, their sole purpose, anyone that's organizing a party, their sole purpose is to make sure that their guests, their audience, their clients have a great time. When you're organizing a party, you book the DJ, so the DJ plays music for what? So that your guests have a great time. You book the catering for what? So that your guests have great food. Your job as a booking agent and everything is to make sure that your guests, your clients have a great time, have a great entertainment. And if you can help the booking agent help them help their guests, they will love you and they will pay you anything you want, because you're helping them make them look good. Because they're going to say, yeah, I booked that. Yeah, I found this artist. Do you like? And they get the credit, and that's your job. Your job is to help them. Nobody wants you to be rubbish. Nobody wants you to be crap. So if you can help them with the way you dress, the songs you sing, how you show up, how you perform, you're hitting people with dopamine, they're going to say, I want this person at my next party. I want this person. And they're going to have other people are going to come to them and goes, where did you find this person? Oh, I want to book them. And that's how things happen. And then you can say, well, I charge X amount. And they'll say, okay, I guess I have to pay it because nobody else is bringing what you're bringing, and that's it, and by you doing that, I want to tell singers that it's your duty as an artist. You've been given a gift, and it's your duty to really become theatre, really bring it out, and don't think about, because I hear this a lot with a lot of singers. When I book singers and musicians, they're like, oh, you know what? I can't really wear this. It's a bit overkill. I look like an idiot. It's only a pub gig. I can't turn up in that. It's just casual. Let me just turn up casual. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's why you keep getting these casual gigs. Yeah. Why are you still doing pub gigs? Because you dress like a pub guy. If I walked into a pub dressed like a superstar, I'm going to look out of place. Yes, because I am out of place. But what happens when you do these sort of gigs? You don't know who you might bump into. There could be an executive there that works for a record label. There could be, somebody, an investor that has money. It's happened to me before. I've had a lot of success through people seeing me in pub gigs where I've thrown it. It's like a concert, like I just took over the whole place. Everyone was getting it. That's how everyone is going to get it tonight. And because I've done that in a random pub where you've just got your locals there, and I'm just there thinking I'm in fucking Wembley. So sorry, my language. Right? I think I'm in Wembley, giving it all, on my knees, looking like a twat. That's what people might think. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm giving you a show. Because I've done that throughout my career, I've had people come up to me afterwards and say, hey, I work for such and such at this label or this TV show. Why don't you come and do this? And then because of that pub gig, because I treated it like Wembley, I'm now on TV. Or I'm now having meetings with an investor that wants to give me $100,000 to work on the project, or pay me $10,000 because his daughter's having a birthday. And he really liked the song that I sang, or and he wants me,
Yeah.
People love eccentricity. People love theatre, and as an artist, you need to embrace the fact. A lot of singers right now don't understand that, and they think their voice is enough. Oh, I can sing. They think, okay, that's the job. I've got a great voice. But a voice is just a tool. It's just one of the many tools that you use to entertain, to give dopamine. What about all the other gifts that you've got? Your fashion, the songs that you pick, the way you even enter the stage is entertainment. You understand?
Yeah,
it's not just, okay, I'm going to sing. Okay, I go on stage and get past the mic and, is the song ready? This is how people show up. And they expect why they're getting paid £100 or 50 quid or not even getting paid at all. You understand? I see it all the time. I go to a gig and there's a band on, and the singer just walks on stage, shuffles his pants, and then looks at the drummer, and then he has a chat with the drummer. And I'm thinking to myself, this is how you want to introduce yourself to me. This is because the show has begun. They think the show has begun when they start singing. No, the show has begun once I've laid eyes on you. That's the show. This is first impressions. I never walk on stage without music. The music starts before I walk on. And that's like WWF, wrestling. You hear the music before the wrestler comes out. You will never see me on stage without intro. I don't walk on stage without a build-up. It's never going to happen because I know that's a dopamine hit. Because I know if somebody introduces, hey, ladies and gentlemen, Leo the Lion, I want there to be silence because I want people to think, whoa, what's going on? That's dopamine. That's mystery. Then I want the lights to go down. And I don't care if it's a pub. I'll tell the guy, do something. I'm not walking on stage raw. I want people to think, what the hell's going on? I want the band to start before I go on. I want to start singing off stage. I want to do something where people are going, what's going on here? Because that is dopamine. Because you're not going to see me enter the stage just like a chump, like a mediocre many. No, I'm part of the fantastic few. So I'm going to come on stage spectacularly. I'm going to come on stage like I am MJ, like I'm Chris Brown, like I'm, it's going to be crazy, right? And it may sound over the top, but trust me, audience loves it.
Yeah.
And audiences, you love it. You've been there. You've been a punter yourself. You love it. You love it when somebody just excites you, when a singer walks off stage. You love all of the theatre. So why don't you be that?
This episode is brought to you by Acoustic Backs and Tracks, your go-to source for premium acoustic back and tracks that sound and feel like the real deal. Whether you're performing at weddings, recording content, or just practicing at home, it's like having a professional band right there with you. Their tracks are recorded by top session musicians with real instruments and real emotion. No lifeless MIDI here. Need something custom? They've got you covered. From key changes to mashups to exclusive tracks made just for you. Plus, their customer support is fast, friendly, and actually understands musicians. No task is too big for them. And here's the best part. Listeners of the Full-Time Function Musician podcast get 10% off their first order. Just head to acousticbacksandtracks.com and use the code FUNCTION10 at checkout. That's function all in capitals and 10 at the end, but you can find their website link and a code in the episode description. Yeah, absolutely, man. There's so much good stuff in there. But just before we move on to your best gigs, worst gigs, have you got like two or three like actionable short little tips that people can get started to position themselves as more of a premium product?
Yeah, I would say, okay, the first thing I said to you already, that's the mindset, the default setting is you're an entertainer, because everything else has to come from that mindset first and foremost. That's one. The second thing I would say is you have to study the greats, right? Identify the greats, study them and copy them. And I mean, when I say copy them, I mean literally copy. Steal if you have to. Steal. Look at the things that they do and say to yourself, wow, that made me feel fantastic. What did they do to make me feel this way? I want to take that because they've done something that's made me feel somehow that I like this feeling. What did they do? Analyze what they do and say, okay, I like how they came on stage, or I like how they did that drop, or I like how they sang that bit there because it made me feel a certain way. I'm going to take that.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson has openly said this is what he does. He copies the greats. He's Fred Astaire, James Brown. Bob Fosse. I mean, if I give you Bob, if I show you a dancer called Bob Fosse, you would think it's Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson plagiarized. Michael Jackson is the greatest thief known to man. Michael Jackson is the king of stealing. And I don't even say that is in a negative way because Michael is he's the greatest. But just because you're stealing doesn't mean that you're stealing. You are taken from the greats, and it's like you're collecting bits and pieces,
right?
Yes. And then you naturally make it your own, because you're going to bring your own swag to it. You understand? It's like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's certain things that work all the time, right? And so Michael Jackson was the great at it. There's nothing new under the sun. It's just a case about how you put your interpretation on it. That's the only difference. So I highly recommend singers to find greats. Look at the greats, people that move people that you love, that make you feel a certain way. Study them. Why do they make me feel this way? How do they sing that's making it resonate with me? How do they dance? How do they perform? How do they write songs? How do they perform on stage that's giving me this feeling? What do they do at this point? And I mean that sort of detail. Just fall in love with watching great people. Surround yourself with greatness. And then naturally, you will become great. You'll be part of those people, because they copied from others. You can't say, when you look at Chris Brown copied Michael Jackson. When you look at Usher, Michael Jackson. When you look at Beyonce, she copied Tina Turner. When you put Tina Turner and Beyonce videos of them on concert, it's literally, you think Beyonce's taking the piss. It's literally the head thing, the dancing.
Yeah.
Beyonce didn't start that. But Beyonce's put her own swag on it. She does her own thing. But people love it. So don't feel like, oh, I can't do that, it's plays. No, it's not. It's about you embodying greatness and putting your own spin on it. So that's what I'd highly recommend. Because again, once you have those first two things alone, understanding that your job is an entertainer. It's not to sell records. Your job is to entertain and give people dopamine. That's your number one thing. The second job is to study the greats. Just those two alone it's far more. You're going to achieve more just on those two alone. And the final thing that I would say would be just get your house in order. And what I mean by that is you need to present yourself as a premium artist. So get your show reel ready. You understand? Because that's going to be your license to book gigs. That's going to be your calling card. That's going to be what's going to make people like myself, agencies or people that want to book you, have a sneak peek of what it is that you do, how you're going to show up, So I would say get a show reel done, get it done well, pick the right songs, and just have something. And the thing about it, a lot of people ask me, show reels, are they expensive? Not necessarily. I've had people send me show reels and they've shot it on phones, on their mobile phones. But because they had the first two, which was deliver dopamine and study the greats, because they had the two, it doesn't matter what format I see it in. If I'm entertained, I'm entertained. It doesn't matter, you understand? If I like it, I like it. If I see that you dress well, I dress well. So I'll say those are the three that I would say. If you can do those, yes, it's magic. The doors, it's just like butter. Everything's just melting for you.
And then buy the book, right, to learn all the...
Yeah, the book, of course. So like I said, the thing about this book, High Paid Singer, this is the only book in the world, Jack. This is the only book in the world that exists that teaches singers how to book high-paid gigs, corporate gigs. This is the only book that exists in the world. And this is quite an achievement. Like I said, it's got everything that you need to learn to understand how to elevate yourself to reach your purpose so you can make money. Because I know, listen, as a singer, you don't want to get a 9-to-5. That's so killing. You've been given a gift to perform. You've got a voice. You want to go and entertain. right? You don't want to be sitting in a desk 9 to 5 doing this job. And I've never had a job in my life. I've never had a job, right? I've never done a 9 to 5. I don't even know what it's like. And a lot of people say to me, "Oh, Leo, you're lucky. I've never had a 9 to 5." I said, "Well, it's not luck. It's just I'm a freak to this thing. I sacrificed a lot. I study grades. I spend hours doing a lot of things that I know a lot of people are not willing to do. And that's a lot of sacrifice. I was on the dole for many years. A lot of people say, Leo, you're lucky because you don't have to." You get up and wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and get a job or get on the bus. And I goes, well, no, it's not luck. It's the fact that I was doing a lot of sacrifice, like I have a huge thirst for learning. I have a massive hunger to learn new things, new ideas. I have a great fascination with people, wanting to make people feel good and have a good time. I have if I see something good, it doesn't matter if it's a comedian or film, or I always say, how did they do that? How can I incorporate? That would be great for my audience to experience. And I want to learn it. I learn magic tricks. I learn how to paint. I paint now, And it's not because I'm such a talented person. It's just because I'm crazy in the point that I have a crazy conviction to learn and want to learn and want to do things that I was hyper focused on. For example, I did a portrait painting for Kylie Minogue. And when I show it to people, they're like, "Oh my God, did you paint that? That's incredible." And I'm like, well, I just copied the greats. I went on YouTube and I looked at great painters and I watched YouTube videos on how they painted, how they did this line, how they did it like that. And that's all I did. I said, okay, is that how you do it? And I went and bought canvas. I bought oil paintings. So I didn't want to do acrylic. I said, no, I did that. And I just sat in my thing and I just literally copied the techniques that they did. And then I did a painting. I'll send it to you, and it's quite impressive, because probably that's my second painting ever. But people look at it and think, wow, you're a great painter. And I'm like, well, no, I just know how to I've just cracked the matrix. I'm just a good copy. I just know how to copy well, and anyone can do this. That's what I'm trying to say. You just have to understand that it can be done. And I'm just trying to teach and galvanize singers that want to break out this 9 to 5, that understand that their purpose in life is to entertain. I want to show them that it's possible. You can make money from it, especially now. Forget about trying to be famous. Forget about trying to get signed. These are all ego-driven directions that are not going to become fruitful. These are egotistical aspirations. Your job is to entertain, to make people feel good. Once you understand that, then you could probably get signed. Then people want to sign you because they see that you're a great entertainer. You understand? Then people want to give you money because they see you're a great entertainer. Then people want to buy your records because the way you've written your song is to deliver dopamine. The way you've written the verse, the way you've written your chorus is because, if I sing a line like that, people are going to chant it back. It's going to make people feel good. So let me write it there. Everything about your art changes once you understand that fundamental law that your job is to be an entertainer. I know I keep stressing on about it, Jack, but that is the cheat code of all cheat codes for an artist. Forget about Spotify streams. Forget about trying to get fans. Forget about trying to get signed. Forget about all of that egotistical nonsense. All of that stuff is byproducts. You will achieve all of that tenfold if you just focus on your sole purpose, which is to deliver dopamine to your audience and make them feel good. All of those things, byproduct, they'll come. And that's how you win. And so that's what I try and teach in the book. But a lot of singers, a lot of them are hard-headed.
Yeah, it sounds so simple as well, and it is simple. But I mean, it's such an overlooked thing from a lot of musicians that they turn up, they think they're doing their job by singing, but that's not it. It's
definitely more than that. And once you understand that, it becomes easier even, and you become powerful. And then you'll never have a shit gig again, because listen, whenever I do a gig, whenever I book bands or because I put bands together, and I'm working with Annabelle's private members club, probably one of the most prestigious private members club in the world. And I got the gig, and they didn't even know nothing about me. These guys, they didn't know nothing about the streets. They knew nothing about me. It was just me and my phone, my mobile phone. And we're talking about a multi-billion-pound company. They're huge, right? And because I performed there once, they asked me to perform again. And after that, they said, "Oh, do you have any other singers that will come and perform?" And I said, "Okay, let me find some singers." And so I started bringing in singers in, but then I wouldn't just let them turn up. I would say, "Okay, well, you need to dress like this, so put this on. These are the songs you need to sing. You need to sing it like this. This is how you need to come on stage." You know what I'm trying to say? Because I know this is what you're supposed to do. This is what I've always been doing. This is what works. And because they did that, they're getting booked, and they've been, and I've had Annabelle's as a client for over 5-6 years now, and it's just me. They can go and hire, there's companies with 100 staff, booking agencies with, 100 staff, countless artists, but they call me. You understand? And because like I said, I've never cracked the code, but I know what the code is. And it's very simple. Be an entertainer. Entertain your audience. Don't just come on stage. Dress like a superstar that you are. Respect yourself. Dress, and I don't mean just your top and jeans. I mean your shoes even. Don't wear those shoes you wore. You wore those shoes out clubbing last week. I'm not talking about those shoes. Where is your outfit? Where is your costume? Where is your gig outfit? Not your shirt that you go out clubbing with now and again that looks nice and you think, okay, where is the outfit that you put on stage that that if you walked out clubbing, people would be like, what is that guy wearing? That's what I'm talking about. Where, put your shades on, look like a cool dude, look like a superstar, put a hat, do something that's going to make me think, who is this person? Because that's dopamine. You understand? And so once you embody that whole thing, be theater. Once you embody that whole aspect of you being an entertainer, then people are going to say, I want this person. Because once you're gone, guess who else is coming after you? The mediocre many. And that's a great thing. One of the best things is once you do a gig in one venue, you know that the next person is going to come is not going to match. And then people are going to think, oh, this is a bit different. Let's call Leo again, or let's call one of Leo's singers again, because they see the difference. You know what I'm trying to say, Jack?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm hampering on about it, but this is the fundamental crack in the game. This is the hack. This is what it is. And if people embrace that, embrace the fact that you're of service. Your job is not to try and get fans. Your job is not to try and make people like you. Your job is not to try to make people think you've got a great voice. Your job is not to make people go and buy your record or follow you on Instagram. That's not your job. Your job, like I said for 1,000 times, is to make people feel something, to make them feel great, to get dopamine. And by you doing that, they will follow you. By you doing that, they'll buy your record. By you doing that, they'll become a fan. By you doing that, they'll give you money. Yeah. That's the only way.
Yeah, man. Loads of good stuff in there. I feel like that's a good time to sort of move on to some of your good gigs and worst gigs experiences now. I bet you got some good ones.
Well, I'll tell you one we did with the Streets, which is an incredible one. So funny. So we were supporting it's probably too young for your audience, but well, so obviously even the streets is probably too young for your audience. So the streets is kind of like an electronic hip hop alternative sort of garagey band, and you know it's rock and roll. You know, it's very much geezer, all right, mate, sort of vibe, but fun. You know, and so very British as well.
Yeah, I mean, don't do yourself a disservice, man. Everyone knows who the streets are.
Right. So yeah, and so we were supporting Peter Gabriel in France, somewhere in one of these like open Colosseum things. And Peter Gabriel is kind of like a 1980s soul, what's it called? Soul pop, like a soul poppy singer. And his fans are like well old, right? Right? And I love Peter Gabriel. But it just wasn't the right mix. It was like, how can I put it down for people who can understand? It was like Sexy Red performing. It was like getting Sexy Red to open up for give me a respectable artist now. It was a mismatch.
Yeah.
And so we were on stage and we were giving it all, giving our thing, and the audience was like this. Literally, not one clap. They were actually booing, like booing us, like because and we were. And the thing, can you imagine? We're giving everything on stage, and they're just like this, not interested, couldn't care less. All they wanted was Peter Gabriel, and so after every song finished, they booed. So we finished the song. Boo. And imagine we had to do this for 45 minutes. so I will always say that story because it's always one that I always find funny, because that one, I mean, if you ever came to a streets gig properly, it was the best gig ever, the greatest. Our gigs were phenomenal, I have to say. But that one specifically, because it was a mixed match, it will always stand out to me because it was crazy. But what we learned about that is that regardless of the audience, we put on our show. You know, the audience didn't dictate how we were going to turn up. You know, because I find a lot of singers will say, "Oh, the audience were this, so I didn't really feel like," and I'm like, you can't have that attitude, because when you go to a theatre to watch a theatre show and the theatre's half full, you don't expect the cast to say, well, I'm not really going to try because it's not sold out, or there's only 10 people. They still give it 100%. So, like I said, regardless of wherever we were, we still gave it. So now I was proud about it. It was funny because we gave our full thuggish gig to an audience that couldn't care less, wanted us off. So that was one. And I'll give you another quick one. I think we did I think it was not Glastonbury, I think it was Reading Festival. And I don't know if you get people who've done festivals before, you get bottled if the audience don't like you. They will throw everything and anything on stage. And we were due on, and there was a couple of acts that were on before us, and well-known acts, and they were getting bottled. The people were peeing in bottles and throwing piss bottles on stage. And we were thinking to ourselves, oh, we're doomed. We are done. Like, if they can boo them, oh, we're finished. Right? Like, we are finished. And I remember we were singing Dry Your Eyes. The song was number one at the time. And there was a bit in the song where I'm belting out just at the end of that song, and my mouth is open, and my eyes are closed. And I said to Mike, listen, I don't think I can do this bit because they might throw shit in my mouth. because what we're seeing here And I don't mean like 1 or 2 bottles. I mean people were throwing prams on stage.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm from Reading. I'm in Reading right now. I would have been in that crowd. Not throwing I'm gonna say that, but yeah, dude, I know what Reading Festival was like, especially back in the day.
Yeah. So if they didn't like you, that's what you were getting. And so I was like, I don't think we could do this gig because, like, bro, like the way that these people are going on, it's tough. And especially that last song where I hold the note, there's no way I'm going to be closing my eyes after singing like this with my eyes wide open, just in case. And but we did it, and it was fine. I would say we probably got 1 bottle of something, but apart from that, it was fantastic. They loved it. Everyone was jumping up. It was a good vibe. I built up the courage to close my eyes and open my mouth, put it that way. So we were comfortable in that sense. But that was these are the things that, you know, when you do these shows, you have such a great time. So many. I mean, I've got so many cool memories of gigging, but those are the ones that pretty much kind of stand out because it's just so far, you know, far left. And you know, when you do this sort of rock and roll stuff, I remember one quick one on tour. I stupidly, I'm not saying stupidly, but drunkenly on stage told all the girls to throw knickers on stage, you know, because I've seen it being done, and I was like, well, you know, I'm here now. I need to, you know, as a rock and roll guy, you need to experience these things, right? So I said to the audience, you need to start throwing your knickers on stage. And I don't know what happened, but word got around to all the other venues that we were about to hit on the tour that even before I said it, girls were just throwing their knickers on stage, and we had such a huge collection of knickers that we erected a washing line on stage. And so that was part of the gig now. So we would hang up all the knickers as part of part of our gig. And for every gig, the knicker pile up just kept building up till we had a whole row of knickers. I don't know what happened to those knickers. I mean, I should have taken. I don't know. Someone's got them somewhere. But all of those things, you know, we end up trashing dressing rooms. We did a lot of rock and roll stuff. I mean, trashing dressing rooms was a huge thing for us, and I don't condone it. It was a dip in our thing, but I think you become mad when you have that level of success or you're touring non-stop. You lose yourself mentally. I think I'm still recovering from it, and it's something that we probably need to discuss, but at some point. But you know, you do get affected by continuously gigging and not knowing where you are, knowing not what day it is, blah blah blah. You're in that bubble, and your brain just goes to the point where we started trashing dressing rooms, and it was the norm. After the gig, the next thing is to trash the dressing room before you leave, and it was just normal practice. It was just normal. Just like I said, during breakfast. That's how it was. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going and let's trash the dressing room. It was like, oh, we're off now. Okay, let's just quickly trash the dressing room and get back on the tour bus. And it was normal. It's only when you think about it, you think you're not mad. And so that was normal. And then it stopped. It kind of stopped when one cleaner came in and saw the state of the room while we were in mid trashing. And she just broke down in tears. And then it was just like a whole realization of, like, what are we doing? Like, I had a cake in my hand here, ready to hurl it. I had a drink in my hand, ready to hurl it, to ruin it, you know? And I was like, what am I doing? What is this? What have I become?
That kind of mob mentality.
Yeah. And it's weird. I mean, we did a lot of stupid things, you know, because I don't know, when people say, why are you look at celebrities like Kanye West and all of these people who I mean, we're no comparison to the level of success and stuff like that whatsoever. But when you see artists like this, and then you say these people are mad, yes, of course. Like when you have that level of success, you know, like people like Kanye and all these people where they've had number ones, everyone thinks they're great, they're touring non-stop, they've got all the money in the world, all the girls want to shag them, all the men want to shag them. Everyone thinks that you're just caught up in that thing. You're not going to be normal. It's impossible for you to be normal. Yeah. You can't come out your house. The press want to get a story on you. You can't trust no one. You can't trust your friends. Probably can't trust your family. You can't trust new people that come to you. What's their agenda? Paranoia sets it. You have to understand that you can't say, oh, this person is different or he's changed. Of course they've changed. You can't, you know, they're world famous. They can't keep the curtains open in their house, put it that way, because there might be a paparazzi in a tree 20 meters away peering in. They got to shred all their documents. They got to have security with them every time they step out the house. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. So
you can't be normal. And so we had a fraction of that, and we're already trashing dressing rooms. So could you imagine? Could you imagine these guys that we all, you know, look at and think, oh, they need to behave better. They're crazy. Put yourself in those shoes, even for one day. Listen, I've seen people change after a haircut. You understand? I've seen the arrogance of people come once they've got a good fade and a trim. They're ready. Speak to a girl after she's had her hair done. Compared to see how she talks to you. You know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So
good stuff, man.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I would bet you got a million more, but I know we are pushing time in. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
No,
so,
good,
I mean, just quickly before we kind of finish up and wrap things up, quick fire round. And these are just some quick questions. You can base this on like your agency business or kind of yourself as a singer or whatever you want. But
yeah.
Here we go. What is the most effective thing that you've done to market yourself or your business?
The most effective thing I would say, oh man, it's always going to boil down to the first thing is show up as the superstar that you are, because once you do that, once you smash a gig, put it that way, by showing up, doing all the things that we've discussed, great songs, dopamine hits, you've done all of the stuff, that people are going to watch that and they're going to love it. They're going to want to book you again. They're going to recommend their friends to it. People in the audience are going to want to find out, because that's, you know, a lot of the stuff that we do is a lot of it's through referrals. You know, someone has recommended you or someone has seen you. So, and you can only get to that stage once you get your house in order. So once you understand, like I said, you cover those first three things, and then you present yourself. You know, you go and you do execute your gig. You give it all. You give your all. You become that dope dealer. That's the best way to market yourself. Then people will gravitate to you. Opportunities will come. So I think focus on yourself and get yourself in order. Get the book for sure. Yeah, because this gives you everything that you need to know. And then that will be the best way to get yourself going.
Good stuff, man. Question 2. What have you learned in the last 3 months that you wish you knew 3 years ago?
Oh, man. I don't. That's a hard one. There's nothing that really comes to mind as far as that what I've learned. I mean, because like I said, the stuff that I've learned regarding the music and the industry, I've known for a while. I mean, what I can say, like what I can reiterate is that no one is coming to save you. I would say that one.
Yeah.
There is no guy that's going to come out of the blue and say, I want to sign you, I want to invest. No one's coming to save you, not your mother, no one. You have to decide this is what you want to do, and you have to take action, and you have to invest in yourself, invest in your craft, and just be vigilant about it, be focused about it, and just make sure that when you decide, you go all in. And that's the only way you're going to get results. And it's going to be tough. You have to be resourceful. That's a big one. You have to be resourceful. And what I mean by that is, just because you don't have the money to shoot a show reel doesn't mean you can't get a show reel.
Yeah.
You understand? There's other ways. You could use your phone. You could borrow. You could leverage something. You could beg. There's so many ways where you can get a show run. So you can start where you are. It doesn't have to be all glitz and glam, and just start where you are. So just be resourceful. So I would say that no one's coming to save you. Invest in yourself and be resourceful.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Maybe this leads on from that a little bit, but if you were just starting out now, what's the first thing that you'd do?
If I was starting out now, like I said, you would first study the greats, because the greats have done it. Like I've said to you before, but when I mean study the greats, that's you perfecting your craft, perfecting your gift. That's you creating the product. That's you creating your show. That's the first and foremost thing, understanding you're an entertainer. And that's your first. Once you've done that, then I would say go out and start entertaining. Start finding, whether it's a local pub or open mic anywhere. Oh, have you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Find an open mic wherever you go to perform, and they have people performing, or they allow people to perform. Go there and blow them away. Go there and be eccentric. Treat it like Wembley, unashamedly. You be the artist that you are. And because, like I said, you don't know who's watching. Musicians can recommend you because they work with lots of singers. They work with labels. Venues would see you. Even the bar staff. I've had bar staff call me up and say, hey, I was the barman at this venue. I'm now the manager at this other venue. Can you come and,
Yeah.
Whenever, even when I do sound checks, even, and this is a big thing. When I do sound checks, I'm killing it at the sound check because I'm entertaining, because it's an opportunity to entertain. Everyone is getting it. The sound guy is going to get a bit of the dopamine. The bar staff is going to get it. The door staff is going to, the secretary upstairs are going to be entertained, even in the sound check, because I want people, because like I said, my job is to entertain. I'm not going to go testing, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to give you a taster, a quick thing of the show to come. And so, like I've said, everywhere, just go everywhere and be the best you can. Dress up, dress like the superstar you are. And I mean detail. Find your shoes. Make sure that your shoes are clean. A lot of people will turn up and they'll put a nice shirt, jeans I could tell you've worn because I can see you've probably got your keys in your back pocket or your phone in your front pocket. All of that stuff you don't understand is deep. People see bookers see those things and think you're not serious. Your shoes are scruffy, you're not serious. All of those little details that you think is minor are huge. And that's what the mediocre people do. They go on stage with phones in their back pocket, keys in their front pocket, wallet, whatever, t-shirt they wore a few weeks ago, they're wearing it now because it's kind of cool. I'm just going to sing a song because we're only in the pub. It's not really a big deal. I can't turn up in the pub dressed like Lady Gaga because it's going to be over the top. People are going to think I'm weird. Yes, you want people to think you're weird because you are weird. You're a superstar. Turning up to bless these people with entertainment, not for you to feel your ego to be, I want people to like me. No. And then once you do that, it's like a clown. A clown is not going to turn up not looking like a clown, is he? He's going to turn up.
That's my favorite analogy of the whole episode so far.
The clown is going to turn up with the makeup, the thing. He's not going to say, it's only a pub gig, so I'm not going to bother put on my clothes because it's only two people. No, a clown is a clown.
Yeah, perfect. I love that one, man. What is the biggest mistake that you've made, and what did you learn from it?
Oh, man, mistakes. What is the mistakes now? I don't really see things as mistakes, but let me just think. What I would say, okay, the mistakes I would say is there's a few. So I would say to make sure that you surround yourself with talented people that are talented in their own field. So if you're working with musicians, try and find great musicians to work with, because they're going to leverage you. The better the musician, the better the show. I would say that get a good band, get a good group of people around you, people that know what they're doing, competent people, because you don't want to start bringing in people that are doesn't match your energy or going to bring you down. You know what I'm saying? So surround yourself with quality people, and then also invest in yourself. Spend the money, whatever it needs to spend the money to buy the clothes or to learn. Invest in your craft and stop trying to do everything by yourself. Work with good people and invest in yourself. That's what I would say. And like I said, don't make the mistake of not buying the book. This is, and I'm not even saying it to because I'm trying to get sales. The reason why I'm actually writing this book is because I've run an agency, right? Yeah. And so I want great singers to come my way so I can get them on the books.
Yeah.
So I can get them gigs and we can all make money. You understand? And so I want you to get the book so that you can learn what it takes, so that you can be great. And then you can say, hey, Leo, check this out. And I will say, amazing. Are you free next week? I've got 10 grand for you. Let's make this money.
Yeah.
You understand? So that's one of the books, because that's what it is. And how much is it? It's like 19 quid. It's not even, pizzas are worth more than this. Domino's pizza definitely worth more than this. What size pizzas do you get? I always get an extra large. Always, yeah. So it's cheaper than a large pizza. That doesn't even come with drink. You got to get a drink on top. That's not 24 quid, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's cheaper than that. And so this is a life changer. Like I said, it's the only book in the world. And I'm so proud of it because it literally everything that I've learned from 3 decades is in here. And plus, so you get to learn that and you can't really go wrong. I mean, like I said, if you follow those first 3 things, like I said, understand you're an entertainer, that's the crucial one. Then everything else is going to bend to your will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, man. Last question. Do you use any specific tools or apps that help you manage your business?
I use loads of apps. For my agency, there's an app, CRM that I use called Go High Level, which is amazing. I don't know if you've heard about that.
No, we get a lot of different CRMs. I've not heard of that one on here before.
Go High Level is incredible. It's my number one. There's people that use things like ClickFunnels or stuff like that, but Go High Level is the god of all things. It's beyond the suit CRM. It's basically helps with social media stuff, automation, email marketing, websites, funnels, AIs, everything. So I use that a lot. I use InShot for editing stuff on my phone. If I want to post a video or some things, I use InShot and I shoot stuff and edit it on the phone. Music-wise, as the standard thing like Logic to do music and create songs. I think those are the main things I would say that I use. Is that what you meant? Is that what you meant?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Always some people just use lots of different things, and it's always nice to get some little insight into that. That's it, man. That's the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been a blast. So yeah, just before we finish up, where would you send people to find out a little bit more about you or get a link to buy the book? Obviously, I'll include that in the show notes as well.
Yeah, appreciate that. So you can hit me up on my Instagram if you have any questions or, any things that you want to ask me. That's at Leo the Lion Gram. So I'm sure you'll put a link on that. Yeah. And then if you want to get the book, it's www.highpaidsinger.com. Go and grab the book. It's people could decide to be part of the mediocre many, or you want to be part of the fantastic few. This is your get out of jail card. This thing here. I can't speak highly enough of it. Yes, I wrote it, but like I said, everything that I'm teaching here is what we're doing now. So it's not something that I did a few years ago. This is what I'm doing now. This is what the singers I coach are doing now. This is singers that are gigging today, tomorrow, this weekend. They all follow this and they're getting paid grands. There's a way out. You don't have to focus on Spotify streams to make money. You can make money right now. There's singers that have come to me and within a week they've made like 2-3 grand, just off gigs, and it's instant. It's not like you have to, do a long process of learning. It's just a case of how you position yourself. That's it. How you market yourself, how you put your show together, get your show running on point. Then you can get bookings straight away. And this is straight money. You can get paid within days. You can get paid on the day. You can get paid months. It's not like you have to wait for Spotify to do your yearly Spotify streams. Yeah. So this is the get out clause. And like I said, to get into this game, you don't need to have fans. You don't need to be famous. You don't need to have no social media following. You don't need to know anyone. All you need to just get your stuff in order. And then once you get your stuff in order, just reach out to venues, people like myself as well. Present yourself. Because agencies, venues are always looking for talent. Yeah. They're hungry for talent. All they're asking you is to show up. That's all. That's all they want you to do is to show up, well. And if you can show up well, they've got the money there for you.
Yeah, man. A couple of my clients have read the book, and that's kind of how I got introduced to who you are, and it came highly recommended. So yeah, definitely worth picking it up. Yeah, thank you so much, man, for coming on and taking the time to chat with me. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, man. And I'm sure we'll meet again and talk some more. Appreciate it.
So there we go. I really hope you enjoyed that episode, and I just want to say a massive thank you to Leo for coming on and sharing all his wisdom with us. He's got loads of content over on Instagram, so definitely go and give him a follow, and you'll find him at Leo the Lion Gram. And you can check out the book at highpaidsinger.com, and of course all of those links are in the episode description. That's it for this one. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next week for episode 3.